Starship Adventures. My name's Ian, and today I'm on a long drive going across several counties here. And I figured I would go ahead and do some more testing with this thing and see how it's going. You don't need to look at me, so I'll put you on the front view so you can see where we're going. It's a lot more fun than seeing where we've been. All right, and there you go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Get the little piece of rubber here. Here it is. I stick this in here so that it doesn't vibrate, and it seems to work pretty good. All right, let's see how that goes. That pushes it up against my mirror and keeps it from vibrating. One of the biggest problems with these phone mounts is you can't just go into Walmart and buy, a fairly cheap one. They'll hold your phone fine, but they don't hold it firm enough to do a broadcast with it. Your people end up seeing a lot of movement in the camera, and you really don't want that. You really want to try to get the car in front of you, just below the center of the picture. That way you get a lot of sky, but you're just above the hood. You guys can see literally my hood is right there. So you're seeing everything I'm seeing. And it's a beautiful day today. The clouds are starting to get some thick bottoms on them. So I'm expecting maybe to see a little rain. I got the radar up here. We'll see what we can see. But so far, I don't see any rain in the area here. I'm in Venice. I just left Venice, actually, and I'm heading south on 41. I'm going to take 41 all the way back to North Fort Myers, and I got to pick up something there and then drive all the way back to Venice again. So I figured I would bring you guys along for the ride. We're going to go down 41, so I'm not getting on the interstate. That gets pretty boring. And I'm going to tell you what I know about these areas. I didn't prep for this or anything, so I don't have the whole, cheat sheet with all this facts and statistics and populations and demographics and all that neat stuff, but that's okay. This area here, just like the area I'm from, is growing so fast that these areas are probably going to see exponential growth in under 20 years. Maybe even 10 years in some respects. It's kind of crazy when you think about what I'm talking about, exponential growth. I'm talking about literally doubling in size, completely doubling in size. And in some areas down here, that's happening in 10 or 12 years. So it's absolutely crazy. It's dynamic. It's unprecedented. It's just an absolute population boom down here, and it's not babies being born, and it's not necessarily all old folks moving down, although there is a lot of the former and even more of the latter. But the actual biggest,
in a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on US 41 South.
Yes. Who would put a traffic circle on this road? Oh, an idiot would. There's only two kinds of roundabouts, the ones in Europe and the ones that need to be ripped out immediately. I hate roundabouts. I think that they're probably one of the bigger traffic mistakes that our DOT has made. Look at this mess. Everybody has to slow down to 3 miles an hour because everybody's afraid of these things. Where if a traffic light was there, that's just a little minor side street.
Traffic circle onto US
yes,
41
shut
South.
up.
Continue on US 41 South for 1 mile.
I put that on because I like to see the time, but I don't necessarily need to hear her mouth. Let me turn that down. All right. Anyway, yeah, I tried to do a drive yesterday, and it didn't work out so well. This route today stays in very populated areas. I don't expect any area along US 41 to be without good cellular service, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. This coming weekend, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the drive again, but this time I'm picking a new location. We're going to try it again. I get a little pessimistic and then it goes away, but I'm going to try. I'm going to see how many people we can get. I've only got 4 people in here right now, so I'm going to talk about in depth tonight on the show what the topic tonight is going to be. Is we're going to talk about the channel, and we're going to talk about what we've been doing and how we've been doing it. And I'm going to get you guys' opinion on something, because guess what? I think I'm my own worst enemy. I've been doing a lot of reading and researching, and I even had AI look up stuff for me. And you know what I've come up with? I do believe my biggest problem is I'm putting all these live feeds out. And although the live feeds do get me hits and they do get me subs and they do, I don't think they actually make me any money, but that's okay. I'm doing it because I need the numbers, you know. And but I think I'm hurting myself. You know what they say? The number one thing creators do that hurts themselves is, as soon as your show's over, you go back and watch the first 2 minutes of it and give it a thumbs up, and then you sign out. When you do that, you're telling YouTube that you don't even like your own video. That's literally what you're telling YouTube's algorithms. And not that I do that particular thing, but that's just an example of one of the things I learned this week. That, look at this, here we go, another traffic circle. Look at this retarded mess. I'm telling you, I have a real hard time with these traffic circles. They are just so stupid. See, we've never got up to full speed. Look at the signs. It's like, okay, sperm on the middle, and sperm with two heads on the right, and something goes around the egg. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with all that. I know it's sexual, but I don't know what it means. And here we go. Nobody knows what to do. So we slow down to, I'm going 4 miles an hour, which is great because I got 4 people in the video. So there we go. There's 1 mile an hour there for each of you. But yeah, here we go. So every single person on this 4-lane divided multi-lane highway, everybody had to slow down from 45 miles an hour down to 4 miles an hour. And then now we're trying to get back up to speed again. All roundabouts do is make sure that everybody gets delayed, not just the people on the side streets. Used to be that light that was there would stay green for 4 minutes, and then it would turn red for 45 seconds so that it could get the turn lanes and the side lanes, and then the light would turn green again. And then it would stay green for 4 more minutes. Now, instead of allowing 4 out of 5 cars to fly through the intersection at 45 miles an hour, what we've done is we've created a situation where every single car now has to slow down to 5 or 7 miles an hour to crawl their way around the sperm, ova, and egg and get around the damn thing. And here we are. Let's see, anybody chatting? I don't know. Let me look. Anybody chatting? Hey, Victor, what's up? You know, I'm not doing okay, but I'm okay, if you know what I mean. I'm tough. I'm going to tell you guys something. All right, Victor, there's not too many people in here. I'm going to tell you guys something. You know, I'm no longer married anymore. My friends have moved away. I'm kind of in a deficit right now. And it's like, and now my mom's in a nursing home and not doing well. And you start to really like pity, you know, and start to feel lonely and things like that. And I didn't realize how much it was building up on me, I don't think, because I watched something last night that set me off, and I was blubbering. It was terrible. And I just, it's good. I feel a little better today. I think I got it out. What I was watching, I want you guys to go watch. Not because you'll cry through it like me, but I want you to go through and watch it and remember the people in your life that you've lost. It's Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. But I don't want you to watch the Pink Floyd version. I want you to put, what is it called? What do they call that when it's like an instant crowd? What do they call that? Flash mob. I want you to put Flash Mob, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. And this group called Pink Floyd Project goes places, and they'll walk into a shopping mall, and they're all just carrying their instruments in cases, and they all walk out into the big part of the mall, and they all just start singing. and they start playing their instruments, and they did Wish You Were Here, and everybody pulled pictures of their loved ones out and they were holding them up. Oh man, it got me last night. I was like, oh boy. Oh man. I've lost so many people and so many cats. And yeah, I don't want to get into it because it's but that's what set me off last night. If you want to know, I mean, I'll be honest, that's what set me off last night. It was tough. It was rough, but you need to get it out sometimes. The whole men don't cry thing is bullshit. Sometimes you really, in this life, sometimes you just got to get it out. Go do it alone in your bedroom so nobody has to see that blubber and mess. But sometimes you just got to go get it out. And I had a real frustrating day yesterday trying to get that broadcast out. And then my mom, she got moved today. All that got put off. She got moved today. It's been kind of a mess today, but we're getting through it. They didn't tell us that we were going to need to bring our own wheelchair. So I'm now driving 100 miles back to my house to get the wheelchair. It's 60 miles. It's a little over an hour and 10 minutes back to get the wheelchair, so that then I can return back again, drive all the way back up here, bring her the wheelchair, hang out with her for a little while, and then get back in my car and drive an hour and 10 minutes back. And then I'm I'm coming back up probably Tuesday to do paperwork and stuff. We've got to get her insurance switched. There's a bunch of stuff that has to happen. But anyway, what a mess. Oh, there's raindrops on the windshield. There's a storm moving in. How come everything I say now reminds me of a country song? Oh, maybe it's because my life is sad. Have you ever noticed that all the country songs, one of the funniest jokes a comedian used to tell was he said, have you ever played a country music song backwards? You know what happens? And you say, what happens? And he says, you get your truck back, you get your wife back, you get your car back, your marriage back, your house back. I'm like, oh, I didn't try that. Maybe I should try that. All right, I can't keep an eye on it totally, but I am watching chat. Well, I do too. There's some hope she'll return home, but she's never going to be the same. You know how that is. But sometimes, you take what you got and you go with it. And that's where we're at right now. We're taking what's left, and we're going to try to give her the best quality of life that we can give her. There's Warm Mineral Springs over there, guys. That is Warm Mineral Springs Hotel. It's a weird old 50s or 60s hotel. And then that road there, Talon Bay, takes you down, whatever it is, that takes you down to Warm Mineral Springs. If you look it up, Warm Mineral Springs has actually been a landmark here in Florida for a very long time. It is an actual spring, and the water that comes up is very rich in minerals, and so it's kind of cool. The water is supposed to have healing properties. Hey, Junior, what's up, buddy? Junior, I saw your email. I haven't read it yet, so we'll get together. Everything's cool. But I haven't had a chance to go through your whole email yet and respond. So forgive me, but I will get to you. I've been driving back and forth from Venice to Fort Myers today. If you're just joining us, we drove to Venice, and now I have to drive back to Fort Myers, and then back to Venice, and then back to Fort Myers. So that's what I'm doing today. That should almost do a full tank of gas. Oh well. I was actually going to go buy a Habitat for Humanity store and just buy one for $30, but they're all closed today. Yeah, no, Junior, and I want to work with you on stuff. I actually want to get a few of you guys more involved in the team. Victor and you, and there's 3 or 4 other guys. I'd like to get you more involved. I want to do stuff. I'm creating like a crew thing. I've got a lot of really neat ideas, and I want to get to where we're posting more, and I'm looking for maybe a few other people to do some postings and things. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. My life should be less crazy coming up here in a few months, I would think. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot I want to do. There's a lot I'm willing to have other people help me with too. It's not difficult stuff. It's just little things like if you see an article, just throw it in the AI and have it rewritten and then post it. And I'll tell you the prompt I use. I'm not one of these people that sits here and pretends like I don't use AI, because everybody, you either use AI or you're not very bright at this point. I mean, because AI is changing the world quickly, and we might as well take advantage of it before it kills us all. So I tell it I put the information in that I want. Like I find a space weather article, and I'll go find the information. And what I'll do is I'll prompt it. I'll say, I want you to write me a scientifically detailed, long-form blog post for the following news story. Please include all facts and links. And I'll hit enter. And it makes it for me. And then all I have to do is just read through it. Sometimes there's errors. You do have to check it. You have to make sure. But I have it writing in my writing style. You know, I pay for ChatGPT, and one of the things I did was, once I paid for it, I fed in a bunch of white papers that I had written over the years, and it actually has adopted my writing style. So when you read a blog post, not only is it was made by me, the information was fed into it by me, and then I went through it and made sure that it's correct. Not just all that, but it's written in my style as well. And I think that's really cool, because it allows me to put out a lot more posts. If I had to write these scientific blog posts, I wouldn't be putting them up, wouldn't you? And I know I was putting them up 4 or 5 a day. I've only been putting them up about once a day, because I just can't. I up, especially on space weather and stuff like that. I got to find a Circle K, man. I need a Polar Pop really bad. You guys will just have to sit in the car. Let's see. Yeah. It is amazing what you can do with AI. And yes, they're running the AI on dedicated. They've got whole buildings now that are dedicated to nothing but a chat model that's running. And the power consumption is off the chain. We talked about that last week on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Let me tell you guys that since Junior and a bunch of you guys are in here, let me tell you what I'm finding out. I think all these streams I'm putting up are what's hurting me. I actually believe that now. I've been watching things, and first of all, I realized about 2 weeks ago, shit. Why is she trying to take me off 41? But she ain't very bright. All right. So I think I'm hurting myself with all the streams, because people pop into those streams. It's not what they want. They pop back out. That lowers my algorithm. Also, if a stream sits there for hours and hours and hours and doesn't get any hits, that hurts my algorithm. So I'm starting to see that my algorithms are being negatively affected by this, I do believe. And so I'm wondering if this isn't part of the problem that I'm trying to identify. And so what I've decided to do is I'm going to slowly migrate all of my stream services over to the other channel. I'm going to need you guys and everyone to help me get that channel up over 500. Not that I'm expecting to make money on it, but we got to get some, if we're going to use it, and it's going to be the stream, we got to get it out to as many people as possible. I definitely want to get it up to monetization, which is 1,000, but it's going to take a while. But I don't really make money on these streams anyway. I'm doing it because I'm trying to build a base. I'm trying to do, you got to do something cool and do it for a long time. That's the rule. And so that's, oh, there's a Circle K and I'll never get over to it. Son of a bitch. You got to see what's hurting you and what's helping you. And I think what would help me right now is to get all of these streams off of my channel and get them all over on the Starship After Dark channel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slowly, over the next week, get all these streams shut down and restart it over on that. And I'm still going to keep going on the program, and I'm still going to keep working on all the different things I'm doing to try to make it better and all that. I'm still going to be doing everything I'm doing now. I'm just moving everything over to the other channel. That way, when I go live with a live drive, or when I go live with the Sights and Sounds of Earth show, or I release a video or whatever I do, I need to be able to make sure that those notifications go out. That's number one. Number two, I think I'm hurting my algorithms because of the way who and how I'm attracting people to come in. And even though I do believe that I've gotten some subscribers through those streams, I think those streams are actually hurting me more than they're helping me on the algorithm part. So I need to get them over on another channel, a channel that's dedicated to nothing but scanner feeds and scanner streams. I don't know if you guys saw, I put up a brand new one a couple days ago that I've never done before. Live train tracker. Did you guys see that? I put up a train tracker. Like I know anything about trains. At least the other stuff, I kind of know something about it. I got a map that live updates. You can hear the train guys talking all up and down the East Coast, the Northeast. It's pretty cool. And it's been doing okay. For a fairly new stream, it's not doing so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna move all that over and see what happens. See how the numbers go on both stations, on both channels. And then on this channel will only go active when I'm there talking, when I'm live, when it's actually a show. And that way you can turn off the bell notification for Starship After Dark, and that way you won't get all these weird notifications all hours of the day and night for all my streams. But you can turn on the bell notification for this channel, so that way you'll get notified when we go live, because that way you won't forget. And it will only go off when we're actually doing a live breaking news show, or the Sights and Sounds of Earth, or a live drive, or something like that. And I'm going to talk about this again tonight so that I can react more to what you guys are saying. Rail fans. Yes, rail fans are fanatical, and I don't mean that in a bad way. That's all. Fanatical is what the word fan means. So I didn't mean that in a bad way. I actually know a guy that's in the railroads, like I'm in the radios, and he's as crazy as I am. There's something really cool about that, actually. And that's why I literally was looking through the streams to try to find, okay, what kind of weird, crazy stream would people want to listen to? And I kept seeing railroad pop up, railroad. So I clicked it and started looking. There's a lot of railroad feeds up and down the Northeast between, say, Norfolk and New York. All just right in that area right there, including Maryland, D.C., Pennsylvania. And so that's where half the rail in the country is, in that area I just mentioned. I mean, that's huge right up there. And so I figured, what the hell, let's do it. And so I went on and I said, I wonder if there's a live map that tracks trains. Well, sure enough, there's 4 or 5 of them on there. And I found one that stays on for days at a time and auto updates. Those are the 2 things that it kind of has to do in order to be useful. And there we go. You guys have a train tracker. So yeah. Collecting train memorabilia also is a huge thing. There's a lot of people that collect train memorabilia, including the railroad crossing lights and signs and also the all the different signs for the different railroads and stuff like that. Very, very collectible. There's a place up in Chambly, up in just inside the Beltway on the northeast quadrant of Atlanta. It's called Chambly, Georgia. I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be an antique shop there, a huge warehouse type antique shop. And that guy used to have full-size traffic lights, full-size hose reels. I mean, he had some really cool stuff. I bought shit from this guy. I've probably spent $1,000 in there over the course of 5 years. And I've still got some of that stuff, and some of it I've sold to other good homes. But yeah, it was really a cool thing. He had full size like railroad sign, the 2 lights and the arm and everything. You could buy that, like if you had a big playroom or whatever. And it was funny because I actually talked to the guy. And we sat and bullshitted for a while because he was a retired firefighter. And at the time, I had just retired from the fire service. And we were just bullshitting about everything. And I asked him, I said, I bet fire memorabilia is your hottest selling thing, isn't it? He says, well, it's kind of hard to come by, harder to come by than the other stuff. But he says, I'll tell you, nope. He goes, the number one thing that sells in here, the most fanatical people that come in here, railroad people. He said they come in here, they are looking for specific shit. They want specific lights that were made by specific companies. They want railroad lanterns that were made by Dietz specifically and things like that. And it's really cool when you see it because they are really into railroads. You can go on YouTube. There is a lot of just people. Here comes the 483 out of Boston, and it's just and the train's going by. I don't know. I think it's cool that people love stuff like that. Yeah, rail fans are the thing. Rail fans, yeah. That's an interesting idea. QR code sticker. I did just buy some stickers, but they aren't QR codes. But I could buy a bunch of QR codes for $40. It wouldn't be a lot of money. Yeah, the reason I think they're not banning me. The reason I think that the algorithms are slowing me down and not recommending me is twofold. Number one, I'm not getting any announcements going out, and that's number one. Number two, all of the constant live streaming that I'm doing, when I actually do a real live stream, it's not deemed as important because I'm constantly live streaming, and I really think that's what it is, guys. And so we're going to try it for a while. I'm going to, starting today or tomorrow, whenever. Anytime I shut down a stream, when it comes back up, it'll be over on After Dark. I'll even start another channel, but that After Dark channel's, it just got over 400 subs. So it's getting there. It's a far cry short of 17,000, but I got that 17,000 not by putting up scanner streams. Most of that came from me working the channel and actually going on myself. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at me, I got a small dick. Whoa, whoa. Jesus, people. People in these little sports cars, they don't realize that when we see you in a sports car with the windows down and your hair blowing and you're going woo, woo, woo on the gas, we know you have a small dick. We know that. It's obvious. That's in the Encyclopedia Britannica. If you act like that in a sports car, it's because you are lacking in that area. It's okay though. It's all right. It's not all about size. Sometimes it's the motion of the ocean. But anyway, whoa, here's another one. Whoa, whoa, small penis. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, she's got a small penis. Look at the broken windshield. hey, I'm going to drive like an asshole, and I'm going to give a cop a lot of things to write me tickets for. That way it's more fun when we get stopped. Anyway, on the car right now, I got 3 antennas on the back. I got a quarter wave that's supposed to have it's made by the Bing Fu company or some shit. It's supposed to have high gain. It doesn't have any better gain than the other antenna, but it does work good. I got that. I got a quarter wave VHF UHF on the left, a quarter wave VHF UHF on the right, and then I've got a it's a long coil antenna in the middle. It's set up basically for 17 meters. I'm just using it to receive. It's a CB antenna basically, and I'm using it as a receive side antenna on the HF radio. I'm looking to buy a screwdriver antenna in the next 3 or 4 weeks, so that and I've already got the mount for the roof and everything. But I'm looking to buy a screwdriver antenna because I want to go out and start doing POTA. I'm gonna go out and do POTA too. That's another thing. I'm gonna try to start going live more and more often with interesting content, live drives, working the radio, doing contesting, but also continuing to keep up with 6 nights a week on the Sights and Sounds of Earth, and you know, probably still be doing the occasional ham radio video. I will admit my problem with ham. I do have a problem with ham radio, and you know what that problem is? Ham radio is a hobby that's full of a bunch of old folks, and they don't like to shit talk anything. And what ends up happening is nobody will talk about what's wrong with ham radio. And if you come on and talk about what's wrong with ham radio, they turn you off. They unsubscribe. They don't want to hear it. But there's a new generation of people coming up that need to hear what's wrong so it can be fixed. And that's kind of where I'm at. Is I try to put out content that's stimulating, that, you know, when you listen to this content, you'll see there is problems here that we can fix, you know, things like that. So I don't know. I tried for 3 years, including doing Saturday night shows. I did Saturday night shows for 2 years. I did over 100 episodes of Friday Night TechNet. And that was fun. We had Zoom people on every week, zooming in from different places, talking to us about different systems and different comms and things like that. Most of that is all still available on this channel. By the way, I just rolled 1,000 videos. I've put up 1,000 videos so far, and I almost made it back up to 17,000 subs. It almost, with the Charlie Kirk scanner stuff, got me almost back up to 17, and then it has now fallen back down again. I'm constantly being pruned. I lose about 50 subscribers a day, but I gain about 30 or 40 a day. So I'm not losing that many. Then when something big happens, suddenly I gain 1,000, just like that. So it's kind of one of those things where I sit there and kind of lose a little bit for a month, and then I have something big happen and I gain it all back with more. It's kind of how it's working out. It's kind of weird, but that's literally how it works out. All right, let's see. Yes, I agree with you, Callie. Dynamic news, and of course dynamic events, and that's why the Sights and Sounds of Earth is designed exactly for that. It's so that we can cover nothing, or we can cover 1 incident, 2 incidents, 3 incidents at a time. The whole idea was live continuous coverage. The problem I have is this time of year, there's not a lot of big tornado outbreaks. This time of year, we normally would be having big hurricanes, but there's been absolutely shit on the hurricane side. I mean shit. And I know it's great for everybody, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. I don't want to get hit by another one either. But it really sucks when you're into broadcasting hurricane stuff and you've got everything ready and you're planned and you're set and everything, and then nothing. Nothing to report. Nothing to see here, folks. And so I end up I don't have the tornadoes because it's that time of year. I don't have the hurricanes because of some strange fluke in the weather right now. What is this fucking guy doing? And so, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot other than that. The protesting, which has all died down. So we're not getting much of that right now. And the police pursuits, which I and others keep an eye out for while we're broadcasting, and we'll definitely take those. By the way, that last one, do you remember Junior and those guys that are in here, Victor? Do you remember that police pursuit where I had 3 shots across the top at one point, and it was 3 different choppers? Well, I got a takedown warning on that, and they told me I had to either dispute it or take it down. That was that I stole that video from the news station. Well, I don't roll over. You guys have known me long enough to know I don't roll. So I went ahead and I submitted all the paperwork to. There's a whole thing you have to fill out. Put all kinds of this, cite that, explain this, cite that. And I got it all put in there, and I used AI to even help me with it. And I made sure that it was comprehensive and that it covered all the different bases of why it would be covered. I even went down through the fair use bullet points of what makes it fair use and explained how I met 4 of the 7 criteria, yada, yada, yada. Anyway. Long story short, I submitted it. Now, they get my submission, and the whole thing gets suspended for 30 days. The video's still up. The money's pending. I don't make a lot of money on these shows. I probably make literally like $1 a show. But still, the money is pending until we clear we clear it off. And they send it to them. They have 30 days to submit back that whether if they're going to sue me. Basically, they have to file a lawsuit in court, and once they file that lawsuit on me, then they would have to wait until everything would continue to stay suspended, and they would have to show up in court with an attorney. And I would get subpoenaed to California, or where that was in LA. I would get subpoenaed to LA, and I would have to go show up in court there and fight this. And there's a real good chance I'm going to win because I've got the better case. I've got a much better case. So why would they do that? Why would they take the risk and take all the bullshit and everything else to sue me over something that I'm technically 100% correct on? And the answer is they won't. That's why anytime someone comes out and says, hey, you violated my copyright, you either need to, atone for that and send them a thing back and say, yeah, you're right, I did. I rebroadcasted your stream. That was inappropriate. I've taken it down. Thank you for your understanding. Or if you're right like me, you need to fight it all the way to the end. I will not go down. I will never roll over. Anytime in my life, if someone, if you're going to write me a ticket, and I've told cops this and they didn't write me a ticket, because if you're going to write me a ticket, I'm going to go to court. I'm telling you, because I know I'm right. And that's all you have to be, is right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm right. I know I'm right. I match so much of the criteria for fair use. There's no way you can say that I'm not right. So I went ahead and I filed the dispute with them. And I told them that I'm not rolling, and that they're going to have to sue me, and I stand ready for the subpoena. Well, tomorrow's the deadline. I had to have gotten the subpoena by midnight tonight. I have to, midnight tonight Zulu, I think I have to have gotten the subpoena, and it's pretty much too late now for it to happen. Here's the bottom line. If you're right, they're not going to subpoena you to court because they know they're going to lose, and it's not going to. And number 2, if you look me up, I don't have anything to sue me for. And number 3, it's very hard to get blood out of a rock when the rock didn't do anything wrong. And so, yeah, they're not going to sue you. The bottom line is they're just blustering. because 90% of the people out there would not file the appeal. They would take the video down or allow dual monetization or allow their monetization, whatever. And that's how they would deal with it. That's not how I deal with it. Not going to do it. I fought it. And because of that, this is the 5th one that I fought. 5th. And guess what? I always win. Because if I was wrong, if you're a big enough man to admit when you're wrong, then it really doesn't matter, does it? I know I'm right, and I'm going to fight it all the way to the end, and that's all that really matters. I'm going to back you guys in so you're not just looking at a glass wall. I'm going to run inside just a second, guys, and get me a drink. All right, so hang tight for me. Monitor the gas pumps. I'll be back in 3 minutes. I'm just getting a drink. Don't go anywhere. Hey, I sound like that show guy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I turned the radio on for you guys, but yeah, it's YouTube. How's that for quick, huh? Man, I'm parched. All right, and if I go right, you got to go down and make a U-turn. They make it so hard to get in and out of these places now, and they don't seem to give a shit, really, that they ruin people's businesses. You know, we've got gas stations that have gone out of business. They went out of business because they would not put a turn lane in, and they stopped allowing people to turn across the median, and they basically isolated the gas station to where no one can get to it without going down and sitting at the light and making a U-turn and going down and sitting at the light again and making a U-turn. And so they literally drove people out of business. In the case of the racetrack gas station at Bayshore and I-75, they changed the road to where you could no longer turn into the gas station. And so the gas station went out of business 2 years later because of that. They did news stories, they did activism and everything, and the DOT didn't give a shit. Well, guess what? 5 years later, Pilot Truck Stop wants to put a truck stop there. So guess what? DOT comes and puts that thing back in again. And then they build the Pilot Truck Stop. I'm telling you, that really upset me. I mean, you literally put these people out of business. And then because a Pilot Truck Stop comes along, and they're big and huge and nationwide, and a good truck stop, by the way, and this has nothing to do with Pilot. They come in and you know, use their attorneys, which all businesses do this. So again, not a negative. But they use their attorneys to push things around and get that turn lane put back in. And now they've got a turn lane to get in and out of the of the thing, where before they had taken the turn lane out and you had to drive half a mile down the road and turn around, drive half a mile back. Now you can just get off the interstate and pull right into Pilot. Why did they take it out the first time? And why did they put it back for Pilot? I mean, this is the thing that really just irks me. I don't think these government types really give a shit about businesses or people. How ironic. A government by the people, for the people, that has lost the give a shit that it had for the people. Yeah. Yeah. You want to hear something messed up from a guy in Florida? I don't put ice in my drinks. I can't stand. Now, I will put ice in tea. Iced tea. You have to put ice in tea. You want to know why? It's in the name. It's called iced tea. But I don't put ice in any other drink, and I'll tell you why. The moment a Coke becomes slightly watered, I don't want it anymore. The moment Mountain Dew becomes slightly watered, I don't want it anymore. Now, the reason I drink Mountain Dew, I'm not even that big on lemon lime drinks, to be honest, but the reason I drink Mountain Dew every day is because I can drink Mountain Dew even almost slightly warm. I can still drink it. I don't want it, but I can drink it. If it's got one ice cube in it, immediately it starts tasting watered down to me, and I can't stand it. These flavored waters are disgusting to me. You're not fooling me. It's still water. Anyway, I drink my drinks without ice. And in Florida, that means a lot of times, hey, your drink's not staying cold that long. That's why I go to Circle K, because they've got the styrofoam cups. I also have a thermal cup in here, but all this won't fit in there, so I'll switch it over later. That looks like a Domino's vehicle up there. One vehicle up on the right. Yep, that's Domino's. At first I thought it was some kind of weird thing on his roof, maybe a Google car or something, but I'm like, no, that's just a Domino's pizza guy. It's a pizza dude. Oh, name that movie. That's 50 points right there. That's pretty obscure. It's the pizza dude. It's a great movie, though. This area here we're south of Punta Gorda now. This is Punta Gorda Heights. And this area here is, it's pretty rural. And, oh, look, they got trailer sales. Modular homes, what they call, they're not really trailers anymore, because when they set it up, the wheels come off, which makes it a modular home. If it has taillights and the wheels stay on, then it's a camper or a trailer. That's the designation they use down here anyway. Those were all modular or park models, as they call them. And all a park model is it's a single wide that's designed to go in a standard park. It's a park model. And then, of course, you can find them. You can go double wides. You can even get triple wides down here. And they'll come and set them up. And I had a friend that had a triple wide, and that thing was huge. It was literally like, it was 13 or 1400 square feet, slightly larger than the house I grew up in. Yeah, and it's a modular home, so pretty good. Modulars aren't bad. They did these newer modulars, everything built since 90. Remember we had Andrew come through in 92 or whatever, and then all the new standards kicked in. So anything built in the mid to late 90s has the new Metro Date standard down here. And the later modulars did good. After Ian, you could go down the street and look, and all the ones that were gone, that were destroyed completely, were earlier models, and all the ones that were later models held up much better, especially if they were boarded up and they were properly, uh, they were properly installed to begin with, and they were properly boarded up and all that, actually did pretty good. So it's still not as good as a block home, obviously. But even a block home's no guarantee. You guys remember Hurricane Andrew? I responded in the Hurricane Andrew the day after it happened, and the shocking thing there that I did not see anywhere else, I've never seen anywhere else, was the devastation was a notch higher than. Now, I'm not talking tidal surge, okay? Like Fort Myers Beach, tidal surge removed 2/3 of the structures on the island, okay? Tidal surge is a bitch. I'm not talking about tidal surge. I'm talking about winds, okay? Winds, just straight up howling ass winds with rain. That's it. And that wind will generally not take down a brick house. It might take part of the roof off. It might blow the windows out, but it's not going to knock the structure over because those structures, not only are they brick, but there's a lintel that runs all the way around the top. It's poured solid. It's solid poured concrete and rebar that goes all the way around the top of your house. It's called a lintel. Now, that piece that goes around the top, that's what protects your home the most when it's really, really bad, because that keeps the walls together. After Hurricane Ian, we did not see outside of tidal areas, and even mostly inside of tidal areas, we did not see brick homes that were demolished, that were crushed. When I pulled into Florida City, south of Homestead, I was seeing entire neighborhoods of homes like I lived in, a block home, in rubble. Entire communities in rubble. There was no wall standing. The stories we were hearing down there about having to dig themselves out, they survived in the tub and they had to dig themselves out of what was left of their house. People calling for help for 12 hours before someone found them. I mean, there was all kinds of crazy stories that came out of Andrew. Andrew took the weather station off the roof of the National Hurricane Center. You talk about some balls. That's some balls. The last thing it registered was 165, way down in the 920 millibars, and it literally took it off the roof, destroyed it. It was laying in the parking lot on top of all the guys' cars. I remember one of the guys spoke in a class I took after Andrew, and he told us about how the entire weather array and satellite dish array from the roof of the National Hurricane Center landed on top of his car and about 10 others in the parking lot of the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. And when I went down there, it looked like Beirut. You know those pictures we used to get? They used to say, "Oh my God, look at that, it's Beirut." That's what it looked like. It looked like a bombed out city. There was even like fires burning, and there was smoke hanging in the air, and the sun was coming up, but there was not a single like bird or bug or anything. It was the most eerie thing in the world I've ever seen in my life. And as that sun come up, they shut that last truck down, and I'm like, listen to that. Holy crap, listen to that. I've never heard that kind of silence before. There wasn't an air conditioner running for 20 miles. No electricity. Hell, there was no electricity lines. Andrew took out everything. Andrew's the forgotten storm. We all talk about Katrina and different things. And the old timers down here talk about Donna in 1960, or the Great Florida Storm of 1928, the second most deadliest hurricane in history of the United States. But you don't hear much about Andrew, and Andrew, truthfully, was the strongest, worst hurricane to ever hit the state of Florida in modern history. They have updated that storm. They upgraded it, I think, twice. They now said it hit at 175 miles an hour, and the barometric pressure was below 900 millibars. It when it hit, it hit like a steamroller. I've never seen anything like it. Houses that are 10 miles inland, laying in rubble. Brick houses, people's homes, everything they own, laying in a pile of rubble. For days they dug and dug all the bricks out and stacked them back up and was getting all their stuff back out from under the debris. The roofs were completely gone, but the walls fell in, and that held their stuff there. And then after the storm, they would be able to recover a lot of their stuff. But man, oh man, you talk about devastating. I've never seen anything like it. Probably one of the craziest stories. There's a gas station that sits right near 997, which is Chrome, and it's down there. It's in Homestead. It's in Florida City, south of Homestead, and it was I believe it was a 7-Eleven or a Circle K, and a bunch of people ended up getting stuck in this Circle K, and they ended up having to move into the refrigerator units in the back, and they rode that out in those refrigerator units, and those fridge units were coming apart. And finally, when the winds finally died down, they opened the door to that refrigerator unit, and when they opened the door, there was nothing left but a pad. There was nothing left but the concrete floor of the building that they were standing in. The entire building was ripped from its foundation and gone. But those big, heavy cubicle refrigerator units remained and saved the lives of those people. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yep, that was one. That was one for the times, I'll tell you. Great. I didn't realize the charger wasn't on. This thing might fail. I don't know. Hopefully it'll start coming back up. It's down to 1%, guys. I'm having an issue with this thing I bought. Every time I get in the car, I have to turn it on. It doesn't come on automatically. So I'm driving around all the time thinking that all of my stuff is charging, when in fact none of it's charging. Even my tablet here is not charging. Low voltage. Hello, low voltage. Yeah, that's the truth. Most anemometers are safe up to about 100 miles an hour, 120 at the most, but normally 100 miles an hour. I registered on mine. I had one. I brought it down to about 8 feet during Ian, and I registered a barometric pressure, I think, of 928 millibars, and I also was able to. I registered, I think, 8 or 9 inches of rain, but I also, I think the highest wind gust I got was like 107, 108, but they're not very accurate at that speed unless they're designed for it. Mine's your typical $60 weather station. It did good to survive the storm. It actually worked for a while after the storm, but then it finally started doing some weird shit. We had a lot of equipment go out after Ian, and I'll tell you why. Salt spray. We don't normally get salt spray 10 miles inland like we are, 12 miles inland. However, during this storm, when we would go outside to do something or move something, the water running down your face is salt water. It's kind of weird. It's like, whoa. First time we were out in it after the winds got really bad, I told my wife, I said, taste the water that's running down your face. And she goes, oh my God, it's salt water. I said, yeah. I said, salt's all over everything. Our cars, it's all over our house, it's all over everything. It's kind of like at the beach. You know, when you're down at the beach, things age and weather quicker when you're down at the beach than they do inland. And a lot of that's because of the salt spray. And sure enough, after the storm, we've lost 5 of our 8 cameras have gone down since the storm. I've replaced them, but we lost 5 of our 8 outdoor cameras. No, 6 of our 8 outdoor cameras. The reason I say 6 is because I forgot that I've even replaced that one. So I've got 4 that are still working right now. But anyway, yeah, it kind of sucks. I had antenna equipment that after the storm, it all corroded up and I had to clean it all off and everything. It's amazing what that salt spray will do. That vehicle on the left there is an undercover or unmarked Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission vehicle. See the tag? Oh, does it actually let me zoom in? Oh, it lets me zoom in, but it won't let me move it from one side to the other or anything. But it did let me zoom in. That was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that. I guess you did. Victor, Charlie, we were without electricity for 11 days. Andrew did not knock out the power in my area. Let's see what other storms. Wilma, we were out for 4 days. Irma, we were out for 8 or 9 days. Ian, we were out for 12 days. The 2 storms after Ian, we were out for 5 days each. It sucks. I got 3 generators. I can't be without air conditioning. It's a non sequitur. I cannot be without air conditioning. So I have 3 air conditioners and 3 generators to make sure that I can keep everything cool. And yeah, when I'm burning the big generator all day and all night, that's usually enough. But if I burn that generator all day and all night, it burns up about 10 gallons a day, 10 gallons in a 24-hour. So, but that runs everything. Laundry, you know, I pump water with it. I run a bunch of air conditioners, you know, TVs, all the usual hot water for showers. So it's really not bad. And I'm running the whole thing on a 7800 Ryobi. 2 weeks. Hurricane Ivan, there you go. Yeah, that was a bad one. It was good. Yeah, after Ian, we had 5 days. We had 3 days of nice, cool weather, 3 more days of not so bad weather. Wilma was the big one. Wilma was a late season storm, and we actually had cool weather after Wilma. I remember not running the generator at night. That's how cool it was. But most of the other ones, sometimes these big systems will usher down, if they go to the right of us, they will drag down cool air from the States and bring it down over us. Yeah. All right, and I'll try here in just a minute. I'm destinating here, but what I'm gonna do, I've just got to load up a wheelchair and I'm heading back. So there's no sense of me hanging up with you guys. If you want, I'll just stay on. I'm just gonna turn the camera around for a few minutes as I pull up to my family's home here and load the wheelchair. But other than that, I'm just gonna stay on with you guys, and then we can run back to Venice together another hour and 10 minutes. So I don't know how long I'll be on tonight, but I am coming on tonight. I want to talk to you guys more about this algorithm stuff and moving everything over to Starship After Dark. I kind of want to get some more opinions on that, and I want to talk to some folks about it. So I don't know. I think that's what like I said, I'm already going to start doing it just to see what happens. But I kind of want to get everybody's opinion also on, and so if you can think of something, bring it tonight. What do you think I could do to make this channel more appealing, or to get it in front of more people? I got to figure something out. I've been stuck at 17,000, just under 17,000. I've been stuck there for 3 months now. I'm not gaining any traction anymore. And I think the live streams are what's doing it. Over to After Dark. I think that's what I can do. Yes, that's a good idea, Junior. That's a great idea. I'm going to transition like over the course of 3 or 4 days. Do I have to tell people I'm transitioning now? Okay, that's a bad joke. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I got to do. I'll do it like one stream a day until I get everything over to that other channel. And then anytime I come on here, it will be legit. It'll be me doing a show for you guys. It won't be this alert goes off all the time. And I know it does, and that's why nobody hits the bell, because I don't have that many people hitting the bell, because I put out way too much content for people to get notified for it, if you know what I mean. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to pull in here real quick. I'm just going to leave the camera like this. I will be less than 5 minutes, and then we will be outie. And we'll be right back, heading back over there again. I'll also show you guys the car. I got it kind of set up today, and I'll show you what it looks like in here in just a few minutes. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Let me go grab this wheelchair. All right. That's how quick that goes. Now we drive back to Venice. Luckily, it's the closer one, not the one in Europe. All right. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Yes, and I do. I bring my cats on. I guess I could do it more. Hey, I'm not discounting it. And I mean, you know, Ed Earl's union, I'd have to pay some kind of rate. All right, I'm kidding. Ed Earl's not union. He's in the Actors Guild. Or no, maybe it was the Lollipop Guild. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yeah, people like when I bring Ed Earl on. And Mama likes to come on too. Those are the two that pretty much have studio privileges. I can't just let all the cats in. I can't just put a cat door. They'll be taking me off the air and knocking all my shit over constantly, and they love to walk on the keyboards, and so it's difficult. Those two, Ed Earl and Mama Bleeper, those two cats, they've kind of learned over the years. I've been letting them come in for a while, and they've kind of learned over the years what they can get away with and what they can't. And they know that they can't walk on those things with the keys. They've kind of almost got that figured out, mostly. They still mess up every now and then, but I call it shack privileges. But they're allowed to come in anytime, you know. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Oh, we got debris in the road. It looks like cardboard. That sky, guys. Holy shit. See, I get down here, there's nothing but a few little puff clouds, and that's it. But up in Sarasota, I actually had a few drops on the windshield and much heavier looking clouds. I think the view out of this camera looks really good. The window's not even perfectly clean, but I think it looks really good. Looking at it on the camera screen, on the phone screen, it actually looks really clear and looks really good. I don't know if it's coming through that way. What I'm thinking about doing this coming weekend, probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear again. But one of the 2 days, I'm going to drive you guys down to Fort Myers Beach and Bonita Beach, and we're actually going to tour. I'm going to do the neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you guys what it's like in a place 3 years after a devastating storm destroys everything. And show you where Times Square used to be. Yeah, that's what they called it. It was just like the little area where everybody, you know, where there was a bunch of little eclectic shops, and there's the beach on one side and the main road on the other, and it was just kind of an area where you'd go around this like circle, and there was a couple of really nice restaurants there, some outdoor bars, outdoor restaurants. The county would allow them to serve alcohol out on their porch, and allowed people to sit outside and drink and stuff, and it was really cool. And all that's gone. Every bit of it is gone. It was ripped down to nothing. There was not so much a stick sticking up out of the ground. It completely changed the landscape. Some areas were feet higher, some were feet lower. It completely re-engineered the ground because of the tidal surging. Littleton. We got something going on here. Got a broke down car. He's got him some help. There's a bunch more multifamilies going in on the left right there. That all popped up in the last week. All right, I'm exaggerating a little bit. But yeah. And then right up here on the right, I showed you guys this the other day. There's the Shell Factory sign right there on the right. You can see it there, that yellow sign. It's all destroyed. The Shell Factory closed early this year. It was a piece of Americana. It was very important to me and to a lot of people. But the old man that owned it and ran it for 50 years finally died, and it was struggling really bad when he died. And his family they tried to innovate. They tried to start new things, create things, and do things. But the truth is, the bottom line is, it was over. See, the first thing is right here. This is Tamiami Trail on the right there, and this is the main big 41 right here. Once we go north from here, we're on the Tamiami Trail, the Tampa-Miami Trail. And that road, the Tampa-Miami Trail, and this new road, 41, used to go on either side of it. They split, and right after the split, there's the Shell Factory, and you can get into it from either side. Originally, the main entrance was on this side, and then they moved it to this side. The whole idea is it was in a good spot, and then it was in its heyday in the 70s, but then by the 80s they had put Interstate 75 through, you know, the good old Eisenhower interstate system. They put I-75 was completed down through here in the late 70s, and by the mid 80s they had already received a loss of half of their revenue because of the fact that the people coming down to Miami no longer had to drive past their place. And not only did they not have to drive past it, but it was very inconveniently located based on where the exits were on the highway. You had to literally exit several miles south or quite a few miles north in order to get off and come to the Shell Factory. So not only was it no longer on the direct path, but it wasn't even convenient if you were on the direct path. And that kind of wrote the epitaph. And then they struggled for years. They've had some good restaurants come in there. They started a wildlife sanctuary and petting zoo about 25 years ago. That remained somewhat successful. They had putt-putt golf. One of the little buildings there was even rented by the Chamber of Commerce to run their little office for Norfolk Myers. It was amazing. They even had like an old fire truck the kids could take their pictures on. They had a zip line. They tried a bunch of stuff towards the end. Inside, they had a fresh fudge shop, a Subway. For years, they had a Subway in there. Before that, they had a restaurant in there. It was also the single largest distributor of shells. There was no retail store in the world that sold more shells than the Shell Factory. And you could buy every kind of shell from all parts of the world. You know, collectors of shells would travel hundreds of miles to come to the Shell Factory and go through the shell collections and everything. It was really cool. But they also ran a huge gift shop where they had the Florida snowmen. Those were a big seller. It was basically a snow globe full of water with all the parts floating in the bottom that you need to make a snowman. And it said, a Florida snowman. Because, of course, if he's in Florida, he's melted. So at the bottom, there was a top hat and a carrot and 2 pieces of coal. You get the picture. They had a little taxidermy thing in there. They had a game room. They had a Christmas shop, a Halloween shop, a fall shop. God, I can't think of all the stuff. And it all just slowly went to shit. I mean, just years and years trying to keep it going. It was heartbreaking. They auctioned everything off, all the things that have been in that place for decades and decades. And what a shame. I'm very nostalgic. I don't know if you guys are nostalgic. I was born and raised in this town. So for me, I've watched it change for 56 years. I've watched everything change, and I'm very nostalgic about it. Yeah, my cat needs a helmet is what it needs. No, I'm not watching any new TV shows. I generally don't watch television per se. I do take in YouTube stuff sometimes. When I watch YouTube stuff, believe it or not, it's kind of crazy, but I'm quite a bit into First Amendment auditing. These guys are going out into city halls and they're seeing if their right to film is honored. Look at these cameras. This is a huge Charlotte County tag tracker. We just got our photograph taken and my tag has been logged in as going back north again. So now they're sitting there going, oh, there he goes north again. He must be dealing drugs. See, that's why I don't like that. I don't like it. Anyway, I've been watching the First Amendment auditors. I don't necessarily like the ones that yell and scream and cuss at the cops. I think that it is a way to test it, but I don't like the way that they do it. But most of them, Long Island Audit is my favorite. If you guys have never checked him out, it's called Long Island Audit. I watch everything he puts out. He was attacked by a trooper a while back, 2 years ago, and has been attacked by this guy 3 times now. And I'm following that story. It's just amazing. Also, another one is Leroy Truth Investigations. Leroy Truth Investigations. And I also like... what's his name? Jeff Gray. I forget the name of his channel. If you just put in First Amendment Jeff Gray, it'll come right up. I should make up a list of these. There's some other good ones too, but those will get you started. Yeah, they make me pretty upset because these cops piss all over our rights. I watch the good ones too. I used to be a cop years ago. And I watch the good ones too because I like to see cops doing a good job. I like to see cops putting the public in their place, saying, look, I can't arrest him because you don't like him. He didn't do anything wrong. I like that. And so I don't just watch for the bad cops, I watch for the good cops too. And it's not just cops, it's the people that work at the county buildings, the mayors, the security people at the courthouse. They're testing everybody. Jeff Gray goes out, he's got a sign that says, God bless the homeless. That's all it says is God bless the homeless. And he does not accept money. If you try to give him money, he tells you, I'm just saying God bless the homeless. I'm not collecting money. And he's been arrested, I think, 7 times. He's won the first 6 lawsuits. And he's in one right now. This guy knows what he's doing. The way he does it, he's got him right from the beginning. And they still arrest him. I think the stupidest cops that you see out there, because there's a lot of good, smart ones too, but the stupidest ones you see are the ones that walk up and say, oh, I know who you guys are. I know what game you're playing. And then they play the game. God bless the homeless vets. Yeah, Jeffrey Gray. Yeah, he's good. Honor Your Oath, I think is his channel. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I think his channel name is Honor Your Oath, which is always good advice. Because Jeff's former military, and he's not collecting money. He doesn't take money. All he's doing is making sure that they're going to allow him to stand. And you know where he goes? To the steps of City Hall. A lot of his audits are done on the steps of City Hall. And they do that on purpose because many rulings have ruled that the steps of City Hall are 100% a traditional public forum. Period. You go inside, they can say, hey, we're running business in here. You can take pictures, but you can't be talking to people, making a scene, this and that. And they can try to run you out of the inside. But on the steps of City Hall, there's actually case law that states a traditional public forum like the steps of City Hall. The steps of City Hall are actually referred to in the law as an example of what is allowed. And they're like, you can't stand here on the steps of City Hall. And he'll say, so you're telling me I cannot stand here and do free speech on the steps of City Hall? And he points right at the steps, and they're like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, God, he's got him, dude. If they arrest him, he's got the lawsuit. He's got it. He's literally doing the First Amendment on the steps of City Hall. And even though you're allowed to solicit money, he doesn't, because that gives him double protection. Because then after they have him in the back of the car, the cops, there was one cop, he gets him all arrested and stuffed and cuffed in the back of the car. Gets him all in the back of the car. And what happens? He goes and starts talking to people, and his sergeant shows up, and the sergeant goes, what'd you arrest him for? And he says, panhandling. And he says, who did he panhandle? And he goes, well, I didn't see him panhandle anybody, but he's standing out here with a sign that says, God bless the homeless vets. And he said, did he accept or ask for any money? And the sergeant goes, no. And he goes, okay, so that ordinance doesn't even fit. And then the cop goes, well, I have him for failure to ID. And he goes, failure to ID for what? He's not under arrest. You don't have a charge to arrest him for, so now you can't charge him for failure to ID. People, one of the biggest misconceptions in the United States of America is that you have to give a cop an ID when he demands it. And that is 100% false. 100% false. The only time, there's only two conditions. In the state of Florida and in most states, there's only two conditions that compel you to give your driver's license and or state ID card to a deputy or a police officer or a trooper. There's only two conditions that they can compel you under. Number one, you're operating a motor vehicle. If you sign a driver's license, it says you agree to surrender this driver's license upon the request of any law enforcement officer. Therefore, if you're driving a car, you have to provide a driver's license. There is no question. Don't fail to provide it, because it'll just get you in trouble. If you're driving a car, you consent to any cop that stops you. Now, he needs a reason to stop you, but you're going to end up fighting that in court. But if he stops you and you're driving a car, you immediately give him driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. Don't argue with him or nothing. Give him the information first. Then ask him why you were stopped. And I'm only saying this not to roll over. I'm saying this because he has the right to get that stuff. So anything you do to stop him from getting it, he's going to turn around and try to use against you. So what I'm saying is, get information right away. Live stream, but I'll be back up there in about 40 minutes. I've already got the wheelchair now. The only reason she'd be calling is to let me know that I didn't need to bring the wheelchair. That's already too late. I've already wasted all the gas. So anyway, I got to go back up there anyway, so it is what it is. But there's only two reasons. One is driving a motor vehicle, and like I said, just give it to him, because he's going to try to make up an obstruction charge. They love obstruction charges. It's all subjective. Don't give him the right. What you do, you hand it all to him right away. If you hand him all three of those things, there's nothing he can write you a ticket for except the driving. And just be as legal as you can, drive as legal as you can, and then you just have to fight the rest in court. But don't fight him over on the side of the road. You'll lose. The only other reason they can compel ID is when you have been lawfully arrested for a crime or city ordinance. That's it. You have to be arrested. Now, that includes being written an arrest ticket. A lot of people don't realize that. You don't have to be in handcuffs to be arrested. If they're writing you an arrestable ticket and they tell you, hey, I'm writing you a ticket, I need your driver's license. If they utter the term, they're writing you a ticket and they need your driver's license, you ask them, is this an arrest? Does this constitute an arrest? Yes, it does. Hand them your license. Do not give them a second charge. Hand them your license. It's very simple. Other than those two reasons, lawfully arrested or being written an arrest ticket, or number two, operating a motor vehicle or a boat. Those are going to be the two reasons that they can stop you. That's it. Or that they can get your license. Now, notice I did not mention the passengers in a car. Passengers in a car never have to ID to a cop. They never have to ID, ever. Now, the cops are going to lie to you and tell you that if you don't ID, they're going to take you to jail. You have to ID. They're going to tell you all kinds of stuff. But it's all bullshit. Cops are allowed to lie to you in order to get the job done. They're not allowed to lie on paperwork, and they're not allowed to lie in court. But they are allowed to lie to you. I always found it strange that if a cop lies to his boss, he gets fired. If a cop lies to a judge, he gets arrested. If he lies on his booking sheet, he gets arrested. But he's allowed to lie to you as much as he wants to, quote, get the job done. They're allowed to pull you in an interrogation room and say that they've got your mother under arrest and they're going to put her in prison if you don't tell them what happened. Now, number one, they didn't arrest my mother, and number two, I didn't do anything wrong. But guess what? They're allowed to say that in order to threaten you into a response. It's legal. I don't think it's right. I think it should be illegal, but they're allowed to lie to you. So they'll lie to you. They'll tell you, hey, you have to comply. You have to give me, I know you're the passenger in the car, but I don't care. You have to give me your driver's license. You have to. And guess what? You don't have to. You never have to give your driver's license to a cop unless you're under arrest or driving a car. That's it. You're walking down the sidewalk. It's 10 o'clock at night. You're walking down a lighted sidewalk, just walking, minding your own business, listening to your phone or whatever in your ears, and a cop stops you. Hey, what are you doing? I recommend just telling him what you're doing. Now, you don't have to. You don't have to. And if you want to start that way, go ahead. I would start with, hey, man, I'm walking home. I just left work. It's right up the street at the place, and I'm heading to my house, which is right down here on Smith Street. And I'm walking down the sidewalk. Well, let me see some ID. No, thank you. So you're refusing to ID. That will be the statement they make to you because it sounds like you're committing a crime. So you're refusing to ID. Is that correct? You're refusing to ID? You say, no, I'm not refusing to ID. You can't compel me to ID. And since you can't compel me to ID, I've decided not to. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. And they're going to start with their threats. Well, you have to ID. No, I don't. No, I don't. I know the laws. I know I don't have to ID. And the moment that they start to sound threatening or anything, you immediately ask for a supervisor. That usually will de-escalate things because most of these guys are playing a power trip anyway, and it's all about ego. And so when you start asking for a supervisor, most departments have a policy that if you demand a supervisor, they have to request one. And so that's a good idea. A lot of times the supervisor will get there and de-escalate the situation before an arrest or before charges can get stacked or whatever. Oh my God. I cannot believe how slow these people drive up here. Jesus. That's all right. I'll go around. Oh my God. Do people not even realize that there's like people lined up behind them to go and they're not going? So let's say there's a car stop in front of your house. This happens to me all the time. I live in a bad neighborhood on a fairly major street, and not major, but I mean a feeder street for a neighborhood. And these cops are always pulling people over right in front of my house in the middle of the night, and it wakes me up, and I get pissed. I get up. I've got this long black robe that goes all the way down to my ankles. I know it goes that low because it gets them little sticker things on it all the time. But I put that robe on and I walk all the way out to the road, and I stand there right on the other side of my fence on my property. There's nothing he can do about it. And I stand there and I watch. And one night, this guy pulled over a bicyclist right in front of my pump house. And I walked out there, right under my light, right in front of my pump house. I walked out there and I walked right up to the fence and I stood there. And the guy on the bicycle that had been pulled over unlawfully, he saw me. He looked out of the corner of his eye and he saw me, and he gave me the head nod. And I'm holding up my camera. I'm recording the cop because I always record cops. Because you don't know if it's a good cop or a bad cop. So you have to err just like they do. They don't know if you're going to be an asshole or not, so they turn on their body cam every time, right? Well, it has to be the same way with us. We don't know if a cop's going to be dirty or not, so we have to turn on our body cam every time. So anytime you interact with a cop, even if your phone's just sitting in your seat, let's say I don't want to provoke him. I don't want to shove a camera in his face and provoke him, because sometimes it pisses him off. That's true. And a lot of times if you shove a camera in their face, they're going to write you a bunch of tickets just to be an asshole, right? So what I suggest, you set your camera recording and you just lay it in the seat. And that way at least you're recording the audio. And then the moment he starts to disrespect you or lie to you or treat you like shit, then you have it running in the seat. You pick it up and say, this has been recording the whole time. Now, what did you say again? Can you say it again for me now that you're on the camera side? And a lot of times that will put them in a position where they have to back up. And all you're really trying to do when it comes to cops is just get them to do the right thing. The problem with cops are they're not out to do the right thing. They're out to get promoted to sergeant. That's how they make more money for their family. They make more money for their family when they get promoted to sergeant. What gets you promoted to sergeant? Points. What gets you points? Arrests for drugs. That's it. It's funny, when I was a cop, you got more points for an arrest for drugs than you did for an arrest of a burglary in progress. I could pull up at Circle K and catch the robber coming out the front door and tackle him on the top of my car and whoop his ass while he's whooping my ass, and finally get the guy in custody and get my ass all beat up and everything else and bring the guy into jail. And I would have gotten more points had I found a cocaine arrest. Now, if that's not disincentivizing real police work, I don't know what is. They over-incentivize drug arrests. They under-incentivize victim crimes. I think if someone steals something or someone hurts someone, that should always take a priority over drug crimes. That should always take a priority over victimless crimes. Parking violations and stupid traffic laws that don't affect anybody. We are so over-policed on our streets. Over-policed.